Well, hey guys, what's up? It's your boy, one and only AR Legends. And yeah guys, today I am back with the next part of what if Naruto was neglected by his family and had the powers of death. So yeah guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed the previous part of this series. And for the next part, the like goal is gonna be 200 likes and 80 comments. Do that and I shall upload the next part as soon as possible. And yeah guys, before starting this video, I would like to make a request to all of you guys who are watching this video. If you guys are new to the channel or if you guys have not subscribed yet, please guys do so. It would be really helpful to me as I want to reach 13k subscribers as soon as possible. And you guys subscribing would be really appreciated. And yeah guys, I have also put the link of my Instagram within the description below. So please follow me on Instagram. So without any further ado, let us start the video. Last time we left off as we saw that how the story of what happened to Naruto, as Naruto was 4 years older than his triplets, but he did not have much chakra according to Kushina, as she was the Jinchuriki, so therefore she thought that Naruto did not have much chakra and was considered a weakling. As while on the other hand, when Menma, Mito and Naruto were born, all of them had red hair, therefore considered to be pure Uzumakis in the eyes of Kushina. But there was a problem. The problem was that all Menma, Mito and Naruto had gotten chakra poisoning from Kyuubi's chakra, so therefore they needed the vitality of one of their own kind. So therefore Naruto was chosen for that, even though they knew that it was highly likely that Naruto will not survive the procedure as it was a forbidden seal of the Uzumakis, but they decided to do it anyways, as Minato decided that as Hokage he had to make the sacrifices, and it was either Naruto or the whole village and his other children. So therefore he decided to make the decision, while on the other hand Naruto was able to survive all that. He was able to gain unknown powers as he decided to revive the Uzumaki and many other clans in the elemental nations that were betrayed either by their home villages or by nations, as he decided to revive them like the Uzumaki and even the Senju clan, which turned out that how third Hokage wanted to secure his position as the Hokage decided to get rid of, as well as you can say Tsunade, who considered herself to be the only true heir to the Senju Hashirama, but she was unable to have Moketan and her little brother Nawaki had it. So therefore she decided to get rid of him as well as the other Senjus who were considered to be threats in her eyes. So therefore she sided with her sensei, while on the other hand Naruto had decided to step on to the light, as therefore first thing he did was to destroy the hidden mist village and therefore gaining all of its resources and all the secret jutsus, and even decided to revive many of the clans that were already terminated by Yagura, as changing the memories of all the people that were living there. They only remember that how it was actually the civil war which ended their whole shinobi village. So yeah guys, that was the last part of the series. If you guys have not seen it, please guys check it out. You guys will definitely like it. So without wasting any more of your time, let us start the video from here. So news spread like wildfire across the elemental nations about the downfall of Mist, as it has taken only 1 week as people already has decided to come out of the Mist village, seeing that how it was only consist of ruins, while on the other hand all the leaders of the hidden villages, even though they were a bit suspicious, but they were little news coming from Mist for years, and they were already in the midst of a civil war, and their cage was a lunatic in the eyes of many shinobi villages and the other nations. So it was not, you can say, out of the options that he would do something drastic like this, but for something like this to happen, that so many people have died and the whole village has fallen, there was no doubt that many of shinobis must have survived and they must have already fled the village. But they were really surprised about it, while on the other hand Naruto was sitting in his office. He had a smirk on his face. At the moment he was standing in front of the many distinct clans that have been already terminated by the Yagura, the Mizukage, as these were none other than Kaguya clan and many other clans. As Naruto smirked at that, he has already revived them using the clones of the Zetsus and using his abilities, as he was able to bring them back to life, and now they were completely loyal to him when Naruto told them that how they were already avenged and all the other things, and now they are serving him. Naruto has already, you can say, put the daimyo of the hidden mist village under his control, and now the water nation was belonged to him. As Naruto smirked at that, and now he was looking towards his subordinates, as one of his, you can say, ambu spoke up. This was none other than his aunt, actually Mito Uzumaki, as she looked towards Naruto with a smile on her face. Well, my lord, what about Konoha and other villages? I'm sure that they will not accept it just like this and will try to investigate the situation. As Naruto simply shrugged at that, they can do whatever they want. It is not like they're gonna find anything. But anyways, the time is already coming for us to step into the lamplight once again. Soon enough, I will expose about our village in the next coming Chunin exam, if I'm not mistaken. They are coming in 6 months, right? At this, Mito nodded at it as Naruto looked towards Nawaki, who was even though happy but still was waiting for the day and the opportunity to have his revenge. As Naruto smirked at that, as he looked towards his uncle, as he said, well, I think that it is about time that you guys can take your revenge after all. I do not want the fortune and the scrolls of the Senju clan to be in the hands of the council of Konoha. So here is your mission. At this, the eyes of the Senju clan, Ambu's eyes widened at that. A smirk started to appear in their on their faces. After all, it was about damn time that they take what belongs to them and not those greedy bastards, especially not that traitor Tsunade. As they nodded at it, as Naruto smiled towards his apprentice who had a beaming smirk on his face. As Naruto nodded, and now let us get back to, you can say, far away from either Konoha or Uzushio. As two figures were simply walking, these were none other than Senju Tsunade and her apprentice Shizune. Senju Tsunade, many people think that she has left Konoha because of all the sadness and all the heartache she felt in Konoha, but in reality, she was on a secret mission. Tsunade had, you can say, did not want to stay in Konoha, so therefore Third Hokage had decided to give her a secret mission. It was the plan of Konoha to expand their influence to other nations as well. They will secretly plant some, you can say, so-called diseases or things like that to the other places, and when they started to spread, Tsunade will go there to heal most of them, and then therefore they will be more, you can say, dependent on Konoha and will feel grateful. This was the plan of the third Hokage, as Tsunade decided to accept it even though she did not have to do much. After all, she already had the cure for the most of these diseases, as she was the one invented them to begin with. So therefore, no matter how much he, you can say, use the fortune of the Senju clan, most of it will always remain intact, and she will have to go to the other nations. So therefore, she did not care much about it. And now she was going to the, you can say, a town for gambling and all that. And finally, she had a smirk on her face. Years has done well for her, even though that stupid Jiraiya was time to time asking her to return to Konoha, not even realizing that it was actually the secret mission given to her by Lord Third, and she was doing it happily. As he was simply bothering her, as she sighed at that, but a smirk came to her face. She really liked that, how he was always, you can say, round about her, asking her to go on a date. It always, you can say, stroke her ego. As suddenly she felt something was off. She could feel some chakra signatures that were rushing towards her, as her eyes narrowed at that, as she looked towards Shizune, as she gave a signal, as Shizune nodded at that, as they decided to move a bit out of the town, as towards the forest area, wanted to see who these people were, as Tsunade was confident that these people, whoever they were either from Konoha, a message sent to her, or they were enemies. Regardless, she will deal with them outside of this town. After all, she still wants to gamble here and not want to cause much of a ruckus. As when she finally arrived to the forest, she was suddenly surrounded by many ambos. As her eyes narrowed, it seemed that these were not from Konoha and these were somehow enemies. As she looked towards their masks, wanted to see if there was any kind of, you can say, headband on their heads to see As she was a bit surprised. After all, there was nothing there. As she looked towards them, who are you people? And what do you want from me? As all of them were silent, as she smirked, it seemed that you guys are already scared of my reputation. You should know that I am one of the Sanins and therefore far out of your leagues. I'm a Senju, the heir to the Hashirama Senju. So you should already run off. Otherwise, you will pay for crossing my path. As she had a smirk on her face, as she could already feel the chakra signatures. These were no stronger than some mid-level Jonins. As she was confident that she could take them down. As suddenly a figure started to chuckle. As he said, heir to the Senju clan and the heir to Hashirama Senju. That is a bold statement. After all, the world knows it, that you are just a medic and did not inherit the fame abilities of Hashirama Senju and the Mokiton. As Tsunade suddenly has her eyes reddened. She always hated when people always whispered behind her back how she did not possess the Mokiton and therefore was just a medic, nothing more than that. Even when she had achieved her title as the legendary Sanin, people always mocked her behind her back, saying that how she was just a medic and Jiraiya and Orochimaru were doing most of the work. As she gritted her teeth, as she looked towards the figure of a tiger mask, as she said, "You brat, you're gonna die here. There's no question of if or what. No, I'm gonna kill you no matter what." As the figure started to chuckle, "Well, you have already did once, but this time, I'm not gonna allow you, my dear sister." At this, Tsunade was a bit confused. After all, that voice, it felt somewhat familiar, but she could not put her finger on it. But when she heard that figure calling her sister, her eyes widened for a second and she could already sense this chakra. But no, it was simply not possible. After all, it has been years. He was dead. As she quickly grabbed herself as she glared towards him. "I do not know who you are, but you cannot fool me. I do not know how you're making that chakra look like him, but he is dead and you will pay for your crime for trying to impersonate him." As she was about to launch herself, but suddenly, you can say, a figure spoke up. "You're as cowardly as always, Tsunade. I was always ashamed of you." At this, Tsunade froze for a second as she looked back to see a figure was walking towards her. As the figure grabbed his mask, it was a lion mask. As he removed the mask, as Tsunade's eyes widened when she saw that face. No, it was not possible. After all, he was dead. As it was, she was confident at that she has seen his body. This was none other than Ryuga Senju, as he was the, you can say, cousin of Tsunade. As she looked towards him in utter shock, as she said, "Ryuga, no, you're dead. I have seen your body." As she was utterly shocked, even, you can say, Shizune was shocked. After all, she has heard stories about this guy and how powerful he was. He was the first one to master the, you can say, the super strength technique, and he was the one who had taught Tsunade when she was a child about this technique and even taught her some, you can say, secrets how to learn it fast. As she could not believe her eyes, suddenly she looked back to see the figure of the tiger mask removing his mask. When she seen his eyes, she could tell from that, even by the eyes, she could see who this guy was. And when he completely removed his mask, Tsunade was taken aback from all of this. Even Shizune gasped when she has seen that face. After all, she has seen many pictures of that guy. As he said, "Long time no see, sister." At this, Tsunade was utterly shocked. This was none other than Nawaki, her little brother, and considered to be the true heir to Hashirama Senju. At this, Tsunade could not believe her eyes as she quickly grabbed her hands as she said, "Release! Release!" As she was putting a lot of chakra into her hands and her chakra system, confidence that this was just a genjutsu. Even Shizune tried that, but she was shocked. She was already sure that she was in no genjutsu, and Tsunade, with her perfect chakra control, should not be in a genjutsu. As both of them were utterly shocked as she looked towards Nawaki as she said, "Nawaki, how are you even alive? You're dead." At this, Nawaki spoke up. Well, sister, you did kill me, but let's just say that fate was kind to me and I was brought back to the lands of living. And before you ask, no, this is no reanimation jutsu. I'm alive in flesh and blood with all of my powers. I mean all of my powers, and for your kindness in my previous life, I would return the favor. Here, have some flowers from me. As he slammed his hand to the ground, suddenly spikes appeared with gigantic flowers appearing on it, with toxin in them. As Tsunade's eyes widened, as she quickly grabbed Shizune and jumped out of the way, as these were impaling him and tried to, you can say, engulf her in a small prison. As she was able to jump away from the area, as she cursed herself, she was in a damn forest and all the trees were coming alive. As Ryuga has already jumped back, wanting to see this, as one by one the members of the Ambo started to remove their masks, as Tsunade could not believe her eyes. She could recognize most of them and their chakra. It was, you can say, no doubt about it, that was the chakra of the Senju clan. The powerful chakra, she could feel it in her bones. As this was not, it was supposed to be. How is this even possible? All the Senju clan was extinct, and she was the heir to the Shirama and heir to the Senju clan. And now, Mokitan, once again, she could see it as she gritted her teeth at that, as Nawaki landed in front of her. Why are you running away, sister? I thought you always loved flowers. At this, Tsunade gritted her teeth as he said, why are you doing this? I'm your sister. As Namaki spat at his side. Sister, you say, huh? You still think that I do not know what you did to me when I was on my deathbed. I was injured, yes, but still, I could have been saved. But you're the one who made my injuries even worse. You wanted me dead because of what? Your damn ego. At this, Tsunade gritted her teeth as she said, you are not supposed to have that bloodline. As she screamed towards him, you are always supposed to be in my shadow. I was supposed to be the heir to our grandfather, not you. I was supposed to be the one to inherit Moketon, not you. As she screamed towards him, as he gritted his teeth. So what? What if I had it? We were still siblings. And because of your damn jealousy, you killed me. You took my dream of becoming Hokage. As Tsunade scoffed, as if you have been ever made the Hokage. Sensei would have never allowed a Senju to become Hokage that easily, even if you had the Moketon. As you can say, Namaki glared towards her. You have already, you can say, corrupted the village our grandfather made, and I will not allow that to happen any further. You're going down. Tsunade, you're no longer my sister. You had died for me the day you had killed me, and today I will take you down and take the name of the heir to the Senju clan back from you. As Tsunade saw blood after hearing that, after all, her pride was always being considered the heir to the, you can say, Hashirama and the Senju clan, as she launches herself towards Nawaki with her super strength, as she was getting closer to him, even though he was looking older, but she could tell that he was looking no older than 16. She did not know how it happened, but she was confident that she was still powerful enough to take him down, even with the Moketon. As she launched herself, as her fist arrived in front of Nawaki, mere inches away from his face, ready to plummet him into the ground and take him down, and then she will talk with Sensei and they will have to come up with something. After all, this could be an opportunity, or she will have to kill him once again. She has done it once and she will do it again if she had to, as she was mere inches away, but suddenly the hand of Nawaki moved. As Tsunade's eyes widened when she was suddenly stopped within mid-air. As her eyes widened, her full power punch was blocked like it was nothing. As Nawaki looked towards her, perhaps you've forgotten, sister. I possess Moketon and therefore the true technique of super strength. And just like that, his face slammed into the face of Tsunade at such a speed and force that she was launched like a rocket. Her, you can say, face and her nose shattered within seconds as Shizune's eyes widened as she was about to, you can say, grab her sensei, but suddenly a, you can say, small sandbond has already hit her neck and she was already unconscious. As Nawaki appeared in front of Tsunade, as he once again release a barrage of attacks. Tsunade has been, you can say, lazing around for years, doing some, you can say, casual missions sent to her by Root or by her sensei to trade some areas where they have already caused the problem, and therefore they will get the benefits, and Tsunade will get some, you can say, money from there and the things like that. Finally, you can say Tsunade slammed into the ground. Blood was already coming from her mouth as she grated her teeth and stood up. As suddenly the seal on her forehead started to glow as she has already activated her full power seal as she let out a roar and launched herself towards Nawaki. As Nawaki smirked, suddenly his forehead started to glow, and just like that, seal started to appear from there as Tsunade's eyes widened when she saw that, as suddenly a kick slammed into her forehead as she was launched like a rocket into the forest. As suddenly, the tree started to come to life as they grabbed Tsunade and started to suck their chakra. As Tsunade's eyes widened when these trees were sucking chakra out of her forehead seal as she tried to break out of the tree, but her chakra was being absorbed at such a rapid rate she was unable to, and within seconds her chakra was already sucked off. Her appearance has already started to change as she let out a roar. "No, you cannot do this to me. I am your sister. Release me now, Nawaki." As Nawaki looked towards her with utter disgust on his face, as Tsunade has used forbidden techniques to make herself stronger, and this was the result. She has already lost her, you can say, youthful appearance, even though the Senju clan can look youthful to the age of around 50. Well, not to the extent of the Uzumaki clan, but still, they were quite good looking. But Tsunade, using her forbidden techniques, even though she was half, you can say, Senju and half, even though some part of her was still Uzumaki, she should have been looking youthful to the age of around 55 to 60, but now, even at such an age, she was looking like an old woman. As a scoff at that, and within seconds, Tsunade was already unconscious. As Nawaki nodded at that, as Trace has already put her in a small prison. Suddenly, a clapping could be heard as Nawaki looked back to see a figure was walking out of the shadows. Well, Nawaki. That was impressive. It seemed that my training to you has not gone to waste after all. As Nawaki bowed down a little, Sensei, as you can say, this was none other than Naruto, who has been watching this small battle, and he was truly impressed. Nawaki was able to take down Tsunade pretty easily, and he was impressed. It seemed that his training was doing good for the brat. As Naruto smirked at that, as he said, "Well then, perhaps we should go to our next step." As Nawaki nodded at it, as you can say, suddenly Ryuga arrived. "My lord, we have already gotten the scrolls and the signature of, you can say, Senju Tsunade from here, and therefore the fortune of the Senju clan has already been, you can say, extracted from the funds of Konoha and all across the elemental nation, especially the fire capital." As Naruto looked towards Ryuga, who was kneeling in front of him, "My lord, and we have already extracted all the funds." As Naruto smirked, as Naruto said, "Well then, let us get back to the second step of our mission, shall we?" As they nodded at that, and just like that, a scroll was sent to the Fire Nation Daimyo, as well as the Council of Konoha. As now, let us get back to, you can say, Minato's point of view, as Minato was having a good day, even though he has received some news about the Mist Village and his sensei has already been confirming it. But he was still happy. One village less will not change much in the Elemental Nation, though some people will try to take advantage of the power vacuum. He did not consider that they will do something drastic. After all, he was still alive and he was more than powerful enough to keep, you can say, Kumo and Aiwa in line. He has already dealt quite severe damage to both of the villages in the last war, and they did not have enough manpower to do much about it. As soon as his sensei will confirm the news, he will make some moves. Suddenly, you can say, a messenger bird has arrived. As his eyes narrowed, that messenger bird, as he thought in his mind, as he gave a signal, as the Ambu appeared, taking the scroll from the bird and releasing it. As he pointed the scroll towards Minato as Minato grabbed it and started to read it as he was wondering what Tsunade had wanted. After all, it has been some time that Tsunade has been in contact with Konoha, even though he knew that there was some kind of relationship going on with Tsunade and Tadokage, and they were doing some, you can say, things. But he did not care much about it. After all, he still have left some authority with his predecessor, Tadokage, to, you can say, conduct missions outside of the village as long as they did not harm Konoha. He had allowed him to have a small part of the Ambo, just like Danzo had. But he did not care much about it. After all, they were far less, and he could take care of them if need be. As he started to read the scroll, suddenly his eyes started to get widened and widened as he was in utter shock as he read the scroll once again. As he, you can say, was angry when he read all of it. How could this even be? And even if it was true, Tsunade should not have, you can say, suddenly his eyes widened as he gave a signal as an Ambu appeared. Summon the council now! As he screamed at the top of his lung as the Ambu was surprised as he suddenly flashed away, while on the other hand Minato started to, you can say, get a bit of panic at that as he flashed away, suddenly arriving at the main bank of Konoha. As he arrived, as Ambos who were in the area suddenly arrived around Minato kneeling, as Minato did not care much about it as he entered into it. As he arrived to the main area, summoning the, you can say, the manager there, as he asked him about some details, as the manager was a bit surprised to see the Hokage but decided to follow his command. As his eyes suddenly widened when he saw the numbers this was not supposed to be. How is this even possible? As he looked towards Minato, sweat coming to his forehead. Minato already knew what has happened. As he grabbed the papers from his hand, it seemed that Senju Tsunade had decided to extract all the, you can say, assets of the Senju clan. As how is this even possible? His eyes suddenly widened as he once again flashed away to arrive to see that the door of the Senju compound was already open. He could already tell what was going on here as he arrived to see the main area which was already handed over to the, you can say, Minato, and they were already going through the paperwork to take all the scrolls of the Senju clan and put them in the, you can say, safety of the council, as they like to put it, and in return they will give some compensation to Tsunade. The compensation was already given. All they had to do was collect the scrolls, but they decided not to do so. After all, they were safe here under the seals, and they did not thought that Tsunade will do something like this. All the scrolls were missing. Damn it! As Minato cursed as he flashed once again away, while on the other hand the council, all the clan heads, has received some scrolls. They were surprised. Only the Tadokage and the elders and Danzo did not know much about the situation. When the council was summoned, they were a bit confused, while on the other hand, all the clan heads had a scroll in their hand and they were not looking happy exactly. As they were a bit confused, suddenly Minato arrived as killing intent and anger was being released by him. As many of the people, you can say, who did not know about the situation, like the civilian council members and the elders and the Tadokage and Danzo, were a bit confused as Minato took his seat. As he put a scroll to the table, as he saw that the clan heads had the scroll and things has gotten a bit worse, as he gritted his teeth as he looked towards his predecessor Tadokage, who was looking confused towards Minato, Lord Third, and the elders. I would like to tell you guys something. It seemed that you do not know about the situation, what is going on in Konoha, as he threw the scroll towards the Tadokage, who grabbed it as he was looking confused. After all, he has seen the same scroll in the hands of the clan heads as he opened it and started to read it, as Danzo and the elders who were sitting beside the Tadokage was also looking towards the scroll, wondering what it was. As you can say, Hiruzen's eyes widened and widened as sweat was coming to his face. How is this even possible? This was a confession letter by Tsunade, as he suddenly dropped the scroll as sweat was coming to his forehead as he looked towards the clan heads, who were now looking angrily towards, you can say, Tadokage. Even Minato was not looking exactly happy about it. After all, he was the Hokage and he did not know anything about this situation to begin with. As Tadokage gulped a little, as you can say, Hamura grabbed the scroll as he started to read it out loud as he said, As his eyes widened, as Minato said, it seemed that I would like to say it out loud. Tsunade has confessed that you were the one who had eliminated the Senju clan and she had known about it all. And she confessed that she was jealous all along. So therefore, she had allowed it, even killing off the only member of the Senju clan to inherit the Moketon. Damn it, as he, you can say, slammed his face to the table as Tadokage flinched a little. Not only that, Tsunade has extracted all the funds from Konoha's tragedy of the Senju clan and even taken the scroll which we have already bought from her that has taken over 30% revenue of Konoha. At this, many of the clan heads who has already read about it were angry. After all, for a Hokage to suppress a clan to this extent, not only just a clan, that was damn Senju clan, the founder of this village, only because he felt that his position as the Hokage was not secure, as third Hokage was sweating a lot at this point. He wanted to say something, but damn it, he could not, you can say, anything. Not only just a scroll, this was also several, you can say, documents attached to it which Hokage seal on it. Proof, ultimate proof that third Hokage was the one who was given that. And he could not even say that Senju clan was making a rebellion. After all, there was no, you can say, proof about it. As he looked towards Minato, who was now getting angry as he tried to come up with some excuses. Even elders were trying their best to come up with something. Even Danzo was sweating at this point as Minato was angry. 30% of the revenue of Konoha was missing the scrolls which the council has made a deal which consists of many fire, lightning and water techniques were on it. All of them, those were missing now, and they simply cannot get their hands on it. As he said, enough of it, as the council was already yelling at each other. Those who were in the support of the third Hokage and those who were in the support of, you can say, who were against him. As Minato said, at this point, Senju Tsunade is therefore considered a S-rank missing mean and has to be brought back to Konoha no matter what. We simply cannot let her have all the fortune of the Senju clan and flee just like that. And those scrolls no longer belong to the Senju clan, they belong to Konoha. We must bring them back no matter what. As he gave a signal to his Ambu commander who nodded at that and therefore acknowledged his order. Tadokage flinched a little as he was just hoping that Tsunade has not released this information to anyone. At this point, this whole ordeal is a S, but before he could say anything, suddenly the door of the council was suddenly slammed open, and the royal guard of the fire daimyo has arrived there. As Minato looked towards them, his mind was already thinking of the reason why they were here, and only one reason was coming to his mind as he graded his state. He was just hoping that that foolish woman did not do what he was thinking she did. Even, you can say, third Hokage and the council was now looking towards those guards gravely as the guards gave Minato a scroll from the fire daimyo. As Minato grabbed the scroll and opened to read it, it seemed that Fire Lord has already knew about the situation as Tsunade has extracted all the revenue of the Senju clan's property from, you can say, which was stored in the capital extracted, which has caused a lot of problem for the Fire Lord. After all, he was using that fortune however he pleases. After all, this was the deal made between him and the third Hokage. He was angry that how Tsunade has extracted it. From this, you can say, letter, it was clear that Fire Daimyo already knew about the situation of the Senju clan and he did not care about it. After all, he was just a boy when that happened and he had taken just the scroll, and third Hokage was able to, you can say, convince him that this was the right way to go, and in return, he will have all the fortune of the Senju clan, and all of it was, you can say, extracted from the treasury from the bank, and he was furious about it, demanding answers from third Hokage and the council. As third Hokage saw it, this was, you can say, proof of his guilt once again, but there was little he could do about it. He was thinking why Tsunade would do something like this. After all, he knew the nature of Tsunade, even though she was, you can say, trying to look all good and well, and he knew about what she was inside, and he knew that she was happy when Senju clan was extinct. After all, it was a way of saying that there would be no, you can say, Mokitan user again, and no one will challenge her position as the true heir to the Senju clan and Hashirama. And why would she do something like this? His mind was already coming up with possibilities, but he could not say them out loud. After all, his reputation was already in the trash, and he simply cannot burn it now. As he gritted his teeth, it seemed that he would have to use his armbo to get to the bottom of it. There was another you can say scroll which the royal guard decided to give to Minato, but when Minato opened the scroll, his heart almost skipped a beat. He could not believe what the fire daimyo was demanding. It was simply not possible. As he looked towards the guard, who was looking towards Minato, are you serious about it? We simply cannot do that. As the council was a bit confused why the Hokage was angry now. As the royal guard shook his head, Lord Hokage, the decree of the Fire Lord is that for 10 years from here on out, Konoha's 25% revenue will be given to the Fire Lord as a breach of contract has been done by Senju Tsunade and you can say the contract made between the third Hokage and the Fire Daimyo. So therefore, all that money was taken by Tsunade. Either you return all the money at once or 25% of the revenue of Konoha will be given to the Fire Capital. For next 10 years, Minato was angry at this point. Even though the Senju clan has gone extinct years ago, most of the property within Konoha was made by Senju Hashirama and they belong to the Senju clan. Many of even the main district and commercial area of Konoha was in the names of the Senju clan, and all that revenue was being, you can say, saved in the fire capital and some into the bank of Konoha. But now all of it was extracted in such a way that it was a gigantic amount of money. One can make a whole, you can say, new village, even more villages from that revenue. And all of it was now missing in the hands of Tsunade, and Konoha had to pay the price for it as he gritted his teeth, as he glared towards the third Hokage, who shrunk a little in his seat as the royal guard spoke up, and that is not a request, Lord Hokage. As Minato gritted his teeth, there was nothing he could do about the situation, only reluctantly nodded as the Lord God decided to leave once again, while on the other hand, Minato glared towards the elder. From this point on out, you guys are expelled from the council. Not only that, you guys will be house arrested until further investigation is done on the matter. As the elders were about to protest, but Minato slammed his face through the table as killing intent released by him. Not only that, I am taking back the forces granted to the third Hokage and Danzo. Both of you are no longer the commander of your respective armed forces. To say that Danzo was angry was an understatement, but there was little he could do about the situation. Only secretly he could use some of his, you can say, forces that were not stationed in Konoha to find that damn Senju and bring her back. Otherwise, they will all be ruined if she caused any more problems. And Minato decided to dismiss the council and call his sensei back. After all, he needs to find Tsunade as soon as possible. She would have to be judged by the council and executed on that, and he would have to think something about the third Hokage and the elders as well. Damn it, this situation was not good, and to think that he was happy that his day was going well, while on the other hand, he was only hoping that this situation would not get any worse, and how you can say how wrong he was. News spread like wildfire. All the influential people all across the elemental nations that have been caused by some disaster or some disease which was cured by Tsunade or any other, you can say, Konoha shinobi. The secrets were leaked, how it was a secret mission and how they were the one who has caused this all, as these were the letters written in the name of Tsunade, and how she has come to her conscience and how she has been feeling guilt for all these years and how she has decided to come clean to all this, to say that these nations were not exactly happy were to be understatement, as Minato was barraged with scrolls after scroll from minor nations, even some, you can say, major nations who were now mocking Konoha, as Minato was angry beyond furious. Hell, he did not even knew about this situation. After all, this was the work of the third Hokage. He has been doing for years, even after stepping down as the Hokage. He was giving these missions to Tsunade, and how she has come clean. Not only that, she has provided excellent evidence of the scrolls with stamp of the Hokage on it, to say that how it was an official mission and it has already hit the revenue generation of Konoha. Many of their clients which were coming from these nations were no longer coming. They have already lost 20% of their revenue. And now Minato was getting angrier and angrier by the day. Things were not exactly looking well for Konoha. Their reputation has taken a major hit. Even the clan heads were now starting to not trust the Hokage, even Minato. After all, who to say that they will not decide to get rid of their clan in the future? Especially, you can say, Hyuga clan was causing problems for him in the council and insisting on the execution of the third Hokage. Even though Minato wanted to solve the situation, he still did not want to kill the third Hokage. After all, he was still useful, and now things were getting out of hand. As Naruto, who was sitting in his office getting the reports from all these locations, had a huge smirk on his face. After all, this was his plan to hit the reputation of Konoha, as the Senju clan was truly happy at this point. They have truly established themselves in this nation, and now soon enough, his new plan, which he was already making in progress, was soon to be exposed to the world, and he was already could see how the world is gonna react, as he had a huge smirk on his face. And soon enough, that is gonna happen, while on the other hand Konoha was taking hits after hits, as people were no longer trusting of Konoha, their shinobi, and their reputation was already in the mud. By Tsunade, the ambush were searching like you can say mad dogs all across the elemental nations for any sign of Tsunade, but she has simply disappeared from the face of the earth. They were angry about her and how she was the sole cause of all of this. While on the other hand, the Raikage and the Tsuchikage decided to use this opportunity. It seemed that Konoha would not be able to do much about the situation, so they decided to invade the water nations as soon as possible to take the advantage here. But before they could do, another news spread like wildfire across the elemental nation, the decision of the fire daimyo to establish a new hidden village, or rather to make a deal with a new hidden village to protect his nation. And the name of the nation is of the hidden village is gonna be Uzushio. The name, when it heard across, you can say the leaders of the world, they were utterly shocked, as Tsuchikage was simply looking towards the scroll coming from the water daimyo, wondering if he has sent this scroll for some kind of deal to be made. After all, it was to be expected. He no longer has a hidden village to protect his nation, so therefore they could use this situation. He's gonna make hefty demands, as Tsuchikage thought as he opened the scroll. Suddenly, his eyes widened when he read the name, as the scroll has already fallen from his hand as he quickly grabbed the scroll and opened it to read it. No, it was simply not possible. He was sure that all those Uzumaki has died, but it seemed that they have decided to make a deal with the remnant of the Uzumaki clan, who has been established in secret, and to take care of the Water Nation. Now the Water Nation is under the safety, or rather the ownership of Uzushio. Same was the scene with Raikage, while Minato, who was already, you can say, pretty grieved about the situation and tried to solve the situation of Konoha. When he gotten the scroll from the water daimyo, he decided to ignore it for some time. After all, he has some other things to deal with, but now his wife has already come to the office to give him some comfort. After all, he was already in quite stress. But when she noticed the scroll of the water daimyo, she was wondering what it was as she grabbed the scroll and opened it, as Minato was doing some other work on the paper. As she started to read it, but her eyes widened. Suddenly, the scroll was thrown out of her hand, as she could not believe her eyes as she quickly grabbed the scroll and read it once again. As Minato, who was looking towards her, was a bit surprised as he looked towards Kushina. Kushina, what is wrong with you? As Kushina was already trembling, one could not say about what. As Minato was a bit confused, suddenly he looked towards the eyes of Kushina, as he could see anger and confusion in it, as he was wondering what it was. As he quickly grabbed the scroll and started to read it, as his eyes widened when he saw what it was. When he saw that how they've decided to, you can say, align themselves with the new hidden village, he was a bit confused. After all, no such information was given to him by their spy network. But when he read the name of the Uzushio, his eyes widened, his blood ran cold. After all, that was the home village of Kushina. As he looked towards Kushina, who was trembling at that to hear that there were other Uzumakis and they did not come to Konoha, as Kushina's mind was going through thousand possibilities. No, it was simply not possible. She had knew that some Uzumakis may have survived, but those could be in the number of 2 or 3, no more than that. And she was the clan head of the Uzumaki clan. Now, to hear that the Uzumaki clan has re-established themselves in Uzushio, not only that, they have been living there in secrecy for years. After all, she was no fool. If they have decided to reveal themselves, then they were of exponential power, which means that they were more than just handful and they have established themselves. Our mind was going through 1,000 miles a second, which means that they were no longer under her command, which means that she was no longer the head of the Uzumaki clan, as she could not accept it. Anger was running through her veins. After all, she has considered herself to be the only leader of the Uzumaki clan. To hear that now, she was just considered a side branch member and nothing more than that, as she simply could not accept it, while Minato was now worrying about this situation. After all, the Uzumaki clan, if it was back, which means that they have re-established themselves, and he did not know much about it. After all, he has taken the position of the Hokage only 12 years ago. These were the matters before, and he was just hoping that there would be no ugly secrets for him to deal with, as it seemed that he would have to resummon the council once again. As he sighed in his mind, once again, the Uzumaki, or rather, they only think these were only Uzumakis, has re-established themselves and the world was once again in turmoil. Let us see what happens in the future. So yeah guys, hopefully you guys enjoy this part. For the next part, the like goal is gonna be 200 likes, 80 comments, do that and I shall upload the next part as soon as possible. So yeah guys, see you soon. Peace.